The sun cast golden light upon the quiet forest. The scent of blooming jasmine lingered in the air. Birds sang softly. Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, his gaze steady. His disciples knelt before him, eyes filled with longing for truth. Ananda spoke first, his voice uncertain. Master, we seek the path beyond suffering. How does one walk it? Buddha smiled gently, his expression calm. Ananda, suffering arises when we grasp at impermanence. Hoping to make it last, the disciples listened intently, their minds absorbing his words. The breeze rustled the leaves above them, carrying his wisdom forward. Buddha continued, his voice steady. Life is like the river, never still, always changing. To resist this truth is to suffer. A monk furrowed his brows. If all changes, how do we find peace? His voice carried the weight of longing. Buddha raised his hand and gestured toward the river. See how the water flows effortlessly. It clings to nothing. The monk watched the water, his heart quieting. Are we to become as the river? Master? His voice softened. Buddha nodded. Indeed, when we release attachment, peace arises. Nothing truly belongs to us. Not time, not possession, not self. Ananda bowed his head, deep in thought. Master, how do we begin the journey toward liberation? His voice was calm. Buddha closed his eyes briefly. The Noble Eightfold Path is our guide. It is the way beyond suffering. The disciples leaned forward, eager for wisdom. The wind shifted, carrying the scent of damp earth and fresh leaves. Right view, Buddha said, his voice clear. To see things as they are, without illusion, is the first step. A young monk whispered, what illusions must we break? His eyes flickered with understanding, yet still held doubt. Buddha met his gaze. We believe we possess things. We believe we control time. These illusions tighten the chains of suffering. The monk exhaled slowly. So we must learn to let go? His voice held a mixture of fear and hope. Buddha nodded. Attachment binds the heart. Releasing it brings freedom. His words settled over the disciples like gentle rain. Right intention, Buddha continued. Purify your thoughts. Approach life with kindness, without clinging to greed or hatred. The disciples reflected on their own hearts. Some saw shadows of fear, others recognized burdens of resentment. Right speech, Buddha said. Words can heal or harm. Speak truthfully, with care, and without cruelty. His voice was soft. A disciple lowered his gaze. Master, sometimes anger guides our words. How do we overcome it? His voice trembled. Buddha watched him with deep compassion. Recognize anger before it speaks through you. Hold it gently, then release it. The disciple sighed, understanding slowly dawning. He nodded. I will strive for truth in my speech. His heart felt lighter. Right action, Buddha said. Each deed leaves an imprint. Choose actions that bring peace to yourself and others. The disciples absorbed his words. The forest held its breath, listening as wisdom shaped the air like a silent prayer. Right livelihood, Buddha continued. Live honorably. Do no harm in your pursuit of sustenance. Let it align with compassion. A merchant among the disciples frowned. Master, must I abandon trade? His voice carried both doubt and curiosity. Buddha smiled. If trade leads to suffering, abandon it. If it serves others with honesty, continue with virtue. The merchant bowed, reflecting deeply. He would rethink his path, seeking one that did no harm. Right effort, Buddha said. Cultivate goodness with perseverance. Cast away harmful thoughts. Strengthen the seeds of wisdom within. A disciple nodded. Master, sometimes the mind grows weary. How do we sustain effort? His voice was faint. Buddha gestured toward the ancient tree. Like roots drinking water, nourish yourself with meditation, kindness, and patience. The disciple inhaled deeply, understanding. He would tend to his mind with the same care as he would tend a garden. Right mindfulness, Buddha said. Be present. Do not dwell on the past or fear the future. His voice was gentle. Ananda smiled. Master, sometimes the mind wanders. How do we call it back? His voice was calm. Buddha placed his hand over his heart. Return to breath. Each inhale and exhale anchors you to the present moment. The disciples tried, breathing deeply, the forest filled with their quiet meditation, harmony settling into their being. Right concentration, Buddha said. Sharpen the mind. Meditation is the key to unlocking clarity and peace. A monk sighed. Master, the mind resists stillness. How do we tame another day? The sun rose gently over the quiet forest. Light filtered through the leaves, painting golden patterns upon the earth. Buddha walked among his disciples, his steps slow and steady. Birds sang softly, filling the morning with gentle music. A monk approached, his face lined with contemplation. Master, I seek understanding. What is the nature of the self? Buddha paused and looked toward the flowing river nearby. Water rushed forward, ever moving, never the same. The self, Buddha said, is like the river. It appears constant, yet no drop remains unchanged. The monk furrowed his brows. Master, if the self is like water, does it vanish entirely? Buddha smiled. There is no fixed self, only a collection of changing thoughts, sensations, and awareness. Ananda knelt beside the flowing current. But if there is no self, who feels? Who acts? Who suffers? Buddha picked up a handful of water and let it slip through his fingers. You perceive continuity, yet it is always shifting. The monk sighed, deep in thought. Master, if we are ever changing, why do we fear loss? Buddha watched the drifting clouds above. The mind clings to identity, afraid of impermanence. Releasing this fear leads to peace. A disciple whispered, but if I lose my sense of self, do I not become empty? Buddha placed his palm on the earth. Emptiness is not lack but freedom. In letting go, you become vast, like the sky. Another day, they continued their journey. A merchant met them by the roadside, his face filled with worry. Master, the merchant said, I fear death. What happens when the body is gone? Buddha studied the wilted lotus nearby. Its petals had fallen, yet the pond remained unchanged. Like the lotus returning to the earth, Buddha said, your body dissolves, but life continues its endless flow. The merchant trembled, but I will not remain. My name, my work, my existence, will they not vanish? Buddha nodded. Nothing is permanent. Just as the wind passes through the trees, life passes through you. Ananda sighed softly. If all is impermanent, how do we find meaning? Buddha lifted his gaze toward the vast sky. Meaning is not in permanence, but in presence. Live fully, love deeply, and let go. Another day, they rested beneath the shade of an ancient tree. A monk sat in silence, his mind troubled. Master, he said, I struggle with my thoughts. They come and go, restless and wild. Buddha picked up a fallen leaf and let it drift in the breeze. Thoughts are like leaves in the wind. Do not chase them. The monk exhaled. But my mind is never still. It wanders endlessly, seeking certainty. Buddha placed a hand on the monk's shoulder. Let it wander, but do not follow. Watch, and peace will find you. Another day, the disciples gathered around a fire, its glow flickering softly in the evening dusk. A young monk asked, Master, does the self continue beyond death? Buddha watched the flames dance upon the wood. What do you see? The monk answered, fire consuming the branches, turning them to ash. Buddha nodded. The flame depends on the wood. When fuel is gone, fire ceases. So too does the illusion of self. The monk frowned. Then there is nothing beyond this life? Buddha smiled. Beyond illusion, there is vastness. Like space between the stars. Emptiness is not nothingness. It is freedom. The disciples sat in silence, watching the fire dwindle. The night stretched wide, endless and serene. Another day. The disciples walked the dusty roads of Rajagaya. The air was thick with the scent of jasmine and incense. Buddha paused near a marketplace, watching merchants exchange goods. A beggar sat in the shadows, his hands trembling with hunger. Ananda stepped forward, placing food in the beggar's hands. The man wept, his tears mixing with dust upon his cheeks. Buddha turned to his disciples. Compassion is the highest virtue. A heart filled with love knows no enemy. A monk whispered, "Master, some say kindness makes one weak. Should we not guard our hearts?" Buddha smiled gently. A closed heart cannot give, nor receive. Kindness is not weakness, it is strength beyond measure. Another day. They rested beneath the shade of an ancient tree. A merchant arrived, his face creased with worry. "Master," the merchant said, "I fear losing my wealth. Without it, who am I?" Buddha picked up a handful of earth and let it slip through his fingers. "Do you possess this soil, or does it pass?" The merchant frowned. "It passes." Buddha nodded. "Wealth is like soil. It may nourish for a time, but it is never truly ours." Ananda smiled. "Master, if possessions do not define us, what does?" Buddha placed his palm upon his heart. "The love we share, the kindness we give, the wisdom we cultivate." Another day, they arrived at a riverbank. A fisherman stood nearby, pulling nets from the water. The man sighed. "Master, I toil daily, yet suffering remains. Will kindness remove my burdens?" Buddha pointed to the flowing river. "Water does not resist the rocks, nor fight the current. It flows, finding peace in movement." The fisherman furrowed his brows. "Must I surrender to suffering?" Buddha shook his head. "Not surrender, but acceptance. When you resist life, pain grows. When you embrace it, peace remains." Another day, a mother approached, holding her crying child. "Master, my son is sick. My heart aches beyond words." Buddha reached out, gently touching the child's forehead. "All beings suffer, yet love remains the greatest cure." The mother whispered, "But love cannot erase pain." Buddha nodded. "No, but love transforms pain into strength, into wisdom, into courage." Another day, an old monk sat alone, eyes fixed upon the horizon. "Master, I fear death. Is this fear natural?" Buddha sat beside him. "Fear arises when we cling to the illusion of self. What do you believe you lose?" The monk sighed. "My memories, my thoughts, my life." Buddha smiled. "All things return to the earth, yet nothing is truly lost." The monk closed his eyes. Breathing deeply, peace settled upon his weathered face, his fear dissolving like mist. Another day, the disciples gathered for meditation. A young monk hesitated, his mind restless. "Master," he said, "I struggle with anger. It consumes my heart." Buddha placed a lotus in his palm. "Hold this flower gently. If you crush it, it withers." The monk nodded. "So too must I hold my anger?" Buddha smiled. "Yes, with understanding. A mind that meets anger with wisdom is a mind that finds peace." Another day. The sun set over the quiet fields. The disciples walked in silence, their hearts filled with gratitude. Buddha turned to them. "Love without condition. Give without expectation. In compassion, suffering dissolves. In kindness, wisdom flourishes." The wind carried his words across the land. The world listened. The world remembered. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.